Welcome to another episode of Musings from Mexico. This morning, as I was in the flow of my yoga session and then with the flow rope workout, I lost my balance a few times and wasn't having the most flowy of sessions. And I started thinking about the balance that's so important in our lives. That balance is the balance between the human physical experience and the deep knowing that we are spiritual beings at the same time, and how those two intersect. I love the imagery of the cross for that reason, with the vertical plane being our divine selves and the horizontal plane being our physical experience. And we're at this point of intersection, but then there's balance around that. We're moving more into one or the other to varying degrees throughout our lives. We can do the horizontal plane so much more elegantly with the awareness of our divine selves. And this week has been tough. My primary work right now is as a money manager and financial planner for clients, and I care so deeply about every one of them. The human story behind the money is so important. And the markets have been falling off sharply this week. That rattles me. Adding to that, I'm getting feedback from beta readers around my book. The responses have been nothing short of staggering. Fathers wanting to share the book, not just with their spouses, but with their children, because they believe that the message could help their children meaningfully. And that's so incredibly humbling. If that one person benefits from the work, I'm thrilled. But I've also been struggling this week with feeling a bit of imposter syndrome. The intention is to say, hey, I'm just a guy like everybody else, had it all, lost it all, came into this profound awareness of who and what I am and who and what everybody is, and the divine light that we all have to shine, and going through that horizontal plane with an awareness of the vertical dimension is what it's ultimately all about. And yet I don't do that perfectly. And here I am writing a book about having an enlightenment experience. I had a couple margaritas with Jenny. That turned into a few too many. I judged myself for that. Why would somebody who has had a profound sense of connection with the divine and who carries that with them through their life want the toxicity or even the feeling of alcohol? And so I was just spiraling. I was getting out of balance. It's like in yoga, falling over or tripping. You take one conscious breath, you reconnect with the vertical plane, and you find your balance. And yesterday, I was able to do that after losing balance. I had to breathe, reconnect, come back to center, and then had a delightful evening. Met some wonderful people. I was able to be present to the conversation. I talked with a former trust officer at a big super regional bank who just lost his son. And I was able to be there and be present to that man's sharing, where I would not have been if I was still out of flow, out of balance, not living at that point of intersection. So I don't have this stuff figured out. These are just musings of mine that I feel compelled to share as inspired. I love this concept. I think it's from Hinduism, the idea of a gourd with a strong base, and it kind of comes up and shapes up toward the top. And if you have a small base, if you don't practice this balance of staying in the flow, of getting grounded and centered, you don't develop that grounding muscle, that strong base. And so when something comes along and knocks you, life, as it inevitably will, you just might even flop all the way over. Some people can't come back up from some of the blows that life deals them. But if you practice this in just the day-to-day, the yoga of life off the mat, the union of mind, body, and spirit, then when life does come and knock you and you have a stronger base, you come back faster. And so I just wanted to share my musings around that, and I hope it helps. So a lot of love from Puerto Vallarta.